So in my last video, I carved this wood spirit out of epoxy sculpt. And I showed which burr is the best, and I showed the Scotch-Brite what I did to sand it. It's not sanded that smooth, that great, but at least the colors have popped back. Here's the metalworking bit on the carver that I used. We'll use this later, again, in the video. This is a micro carver, Ram Products. So what I'm going to do in this video, here's some dye for epoxy, or whatever you friggin' call it. Here's the wood spirit, or the epoxy spirit. Okay, here's the mold that I originally poured the epoxy into. I'm going to put this back in here. All right, I'm going to mix up some more epoxy. This is just cheap Amazon stuff, everybody. It's worked good for me. I've done some lighters and some wine toppers with it. I'm going to use this. A equals B, so it's 1-to-1. It's pretty easy to use. I got a measuring cup here, so I'm going to put half of this and half of the hardener or whatever in the measuring cup and mix it up and put a little bit of that, I don't know what this would be, dye or whatever it's called. I'm going to put this in there, and it's going to cure light blue. I don't want to make it too dark. It's going to cure light blue, and then I'm going to carve something over top of this face. And you can go on and on and on and on. And it's just me experimenting. So this video is going to take a few days because this stuff takes a while to cure. Now, this is not deep pour epoxy. I think this is just like kind of hobby stuff. I've threw away the instructions, so I don't know how long it takes to cure, but I'm going to leave this sit for at least 2 days before I carve it. And also, for the very beginning epoxy people, I'm a beginner too, but you see how thick that is? What I do is I put these in warm water. So once it's in warm water, it gets to be a lot more like water. And when it's more like water, when you do your pour, it has better chance of releasing the bubbles, so you have less bubbles in here. Now, I don't care if it has a couple bubbles, not a big deal. I do have a pressure pot, and I have one of those Vever, release chamber thing you hook up to your little pump, and it sucks the gases out of the epoxy, or I got the pressure pot that will shrink the bubbles. But I don't want to do that. I just want to quickly do this and have fun. I don't want to use too much of this stuff. I've never used it before. I don't want this to go too dark because I want you to be able to see the face through this. Do one more drop. Two more drops. Take your time, mix it up because you don't want to get the bubbles in there. I usually scrape the sides. I know you can't really see on the video. I don't know. This is just some dye that I got in the, I don't know if it's dye or whatever it's called, like I said. Some epoxy kit that I bought. This now with my heat gun. Heat gun. Not too much. You don't want to burn the mold. Okay, now I got a paintbrush. Actually, it still needs to go a bit darker. Sorry. Okay, there you can see. So now what I'm going to do is get my paintbrush and paint it on. Everywhere. Some epoxy pros are probably watching this right now and be like, no, that's not what you do. Well, that's what I do. And I've had pretty good success. So this still could go a little bit darker. I'm going to make it a little bit more darker. Basically used half the thing. You could use your heat gun now if you think there's bubbles on there to pop the bubbles. Doesn't look like there's any bubbles in this stuff. There is though. They're there. Okay, so now I get this. I pour this up really high and make a little trinkle. And I just hold it on one spot and let it spread out. I shouldn't really be showing this because I'm not, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best. It's going to work. Okay, now is pouring time. I don't want to fill up this whole mold. Now I'm looking at it. Hope I didn't make it too dark. It's okay. Live and learn though. Epoxy is super fun to get all the different colors to pop out and stuff like that, but it's super not cheap. So that is basically about it. Now I got some of this for the later cases. Actually, I need to pour more in there. I need to get enough room to curve that nose. Sorry if my mic was screwed up. I got basically enough for a lighter pour. So I don't want it to be clear for the lighter stuff. So I got some orange. What do orange and blue make? I think they make purple. So I put some pigment powders in there. Whatever you freaking call them. I'll mix these good. Mix this up good. And pour it in the lighter things. I should get one. Or maybe even two. Anyways. So as this is going, I'll get my air gun, my hot gun, and whoosh, pop the bubbles with it. And we got a lighter case full. So that's perfect. I'll move this off to the side, bang it down a couple times, and let this cure. You will see the face on inside this more. Let me pull the camera off the tripod. More once, because I still got to carve this top layer thicker too, right? I mean thinner. I got to carve it thinner to carve a shape or whatever I'm going to carve. Who knows? Maybe I'll just carve a flower on it. So it's now a couple days later, and well, I'm not going to lie, it's now the next day. And here's the thing. I'm so beginner at the epoxy stuff. Like, I hot glued that wood spirit. This is the second video of this. There's a carving underneath this pour here, a wood spirit or epoxy spirit. I hot glued it down inside this mold, the rubber mold inside here. Let's pull this out. These corners in here have rounded. This thing should be completely flat. Let's get this out of the mold. What I think happened was when this was curing, because these are rounded so much, when this was curing, there was a bubble underneath this, like air was trapped underneath there, and then the bubble came out, this sunk in there, and it was curing so much, like it was almost done. Not done, but it was just in the middle of curing. It didn't have the chance to level out again. So, but it's okay because I'm carving this. But if I wasn't going to carve it, that would be a problem. So yeah, you can see all the how much blue has gone around the black because I guess that yeah, the hot glue didn't hold from the glue gun, because you can see there's a pour right over top of it. But anyways, this is what we got. So you can see this is just a completely learning process, everybody, too, like I've said. You can see what really shines through here is the gold stuff. So if I ever do this again, if I do it again, I'm not a huge fan of carving this epoxy. In a bigger scale like this, it creates a big mess, man. When you're stuck at a little table like this, I do suggest to do this, something like this outdoors. So let's see if we can get some better lighting here so I can, I guess I can't show you better lighting. Questions that I ask myself, did I mix this, the blue too blue? Is it translucent? I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. which I'm not going to be able to. Is it translucent enough? Yeah, I think it is. But I want to be able to put a light behind this whole piece, and the light shines through. Maybe put it in incorporate it into a wood carving one time. So now the other question I ask myself, what do I want to carve on the, what do I want to carve? So we got the wood spirit and epoxy spirit under here. What do I want to carve another face on top of it? See how these corners rounded? That's probably what happened. But it's took a good cure, and I don't see any air bubbles in there, but I'll have a closer look. Look at it this way, through a light shining through it this way. But I'm probably just wasting time babbling right now about absolutely nothing. So what I want to do is decide what I want to carve on it. My original plan was, you can see here, you can see in there how much room I got to carve. I think I should probably, I was just talking to Larry Dibbs from Owsley Workshop, just carve Rob. I should probably just carve a face over it so I don't distort what's behind here. I'm going to have to carve some of this out too to make it more, the light come through, because I did pour this red stuff a little bit too thick. It is translucent, but it's kind of clumpy, the way the epoxy cured. So anyways, where's that glue? That's in there. I'll have to carve that out. Anyways, here's maybe a better view so you can see it. So no, I didn't mix the blue too dark, which I was worried that I did. Oh, I thought that was a big air bubble there where the nose is. You can see some air bubbles in there. So, but that's on the outside. I'm not really too worried about air bubbles, but I probably should have used the pressure pot. And you can see there underneath in the back where the glue came undone, the hot glue. And the piece actually started floating up and the epoxy got underneath it, I think. I don't know. Like I said, it's the first time for everything. But yeah, you can see the face underneath there. Are those air bubbles on the face? Just don't know. So like I did in the first video, I'm going to shape this a bit. And I decided that I'm just going to carve the face over the face. Just don't want to make it too complicated. So I'll shape it and be back. I don't have my microphone plugged in, but here's the thing. I want to have fun, at least the best I can, carving this today. So I'm going to carve on these angles. That's the best place to carve a wood spirit, on these angles like this. So I'm going to carve one here and one here. They're both going to be looking this way. That's what I'm doing. Don't care. Well, I will say there's lots of stuff to learn if you want to get into this sort of thing. I hold out the back more to try and make it so you can see better through the light. The conclusion to this is, so far, that you're not going to be able to see the face underneath here. I should have really just put a little tiny bit of blue in there. Let's get the light set up here. I know it's going to be hard for you guys to see, but you really don't see the second face underneath there. So I think if I was going to do this again, which I probably won't, is make the first coat a solid color. Still translucent, or it doesn't have to be translucent. You don't have to put the light through it, but it would be a solid color. Then even just do a clear coat on the top, or just one little tiny drop of the blue or any color that you're going to use. So it looks like kind of neat Japanese stuff in that top hair there, but other than that, you're not going to see the face below. So what I think I'm going to do is try and save this piece. Actually, I got some water here. Let's put some water on it. Actually, just dunk it in there. It might be a little bit more translucent with the water on it. Yeah, you're not going to see that center face. It's just not working out. So what I'm going to do is, do I even want to carve this anymore? I think I'm going to carve these noses off and then just carve just one wood spirit in here and try and save the piece as much as I can. This is just an experiment, and obviously it didn't work out the way I tried it. So I think if I was going to do it again, the first coat would be pretty well solid, the first epoxy pour. Then the second epoxy pour would be pretty well clear with a little tiny tint of color if I was going to put any color into it at all or anything. I don't want to have two faces on this. It's easy to carve these noses off. You know, you can see the pile of epoxy there. That's just what's left on the table. Imagine what the table sucked in. It's just messy to carve. So let's just carve. I'll do it off screen. I'll carve these noses off and try and save this piece. There'll be some blue. I'll leave some blue on it. Where's that last nose? See, you can't even see the lot where the other nose was. So I'd call this a little bit of a fail. But let me try and see if I can save the piece, crank some music, and just carve a basic wood spirit down here. Anyways, can't win them all. All right, so I carved through it and got it done. The grand finale. Here's a three-nosed wood spirit thing with the carving fusion flower on the top. Basically call this a useless piece of art, but at least I did something with it. I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to have fun carving and try something a little bit different. And I did. I don't think I said it at the beginning of the video, but I use this metalworking burr basically to do the whole carving. So this is the best burr to carve epoxy with. It's the cleanest. And I hit it with the Scotch-Brite on a sanding mandrel. So we got some water here. Let's give it some... you just got to kind of pretend this would be a clear coat. The water. So actually, let me get this done off camera. Actually, better yet, let's put the camera in the overhead so you can see all the colors of this pot. So this would be a water test to see what it looks like if I put, I'll probably put a top layer of epoxy on this, or I might just clear coat it. Yeah, I'm going to go rinse this off so all the white stuff's out of it. Stand by. Oh, there you go. So what did I learn along the way? I learned a lot along the way. The first coat, probably make it thicker. The second coat, make it like almost basically clear. Let's see if we can do the light test now. See how well the colors come through. Yeah, so you can see the colors come through now. Anyways, everybody, that's it. I put a hole in the top to put a string in there so it can hang, but I'll give this a clear coat with this Rust-Oleum satin offline, and that's it. Carving epoxy is messy, messy, messy. Here's the lighter that I poured. It's all dry, ready to carve. I'd much rather carve smaller things like this. It's way less messy and, I don't know, funner to do. This was fun, but didn't quite work out how I wanted it to work out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a quick video since I'm here carving. I got this piece of poplar. I'm going to make a quick video the best way to block out a face. A nose anyways on this angle right here. That's how you get the nose to pop off. Carving Fusion, over and out. Oh, I'm going to give this away for the Christmas challenge. I'll have that next week. I'll post a video. I'll post a posting on. I'm gonna make the video so you guys can. Oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna friggin' make it the video so it will be live and you guys can see when it's gonna be. Maybe I'll do it like next Tuesday or something like that. I'm not too sure, but anyways, sign your pizzas.